Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Coming to do a news story for you about Secretary John Kerry giving some harsh words to the Israeli Prime Minister. Okay, in a lengthy, at times bitter speech boiling over with frustration, outgoing Secretary of State John Kerry on Wednesday accused the Israeli government of risking future prospects for peace with the Palestinians by adopting the right-wing agenda of the mushrooming Israeli settler movement. He quotes, or in quotes, "We cannot in good conscience do nothing and say nothing when we see the hope of peace slipping away," Kerry insisted in a 70-minute speech in Washington. First, we need to tell each other the hard truths, and friendships require mutual respect. Using language rarely heard from a U.S. Secretary of State, Kerry warned that the settlers' growing political power would eventually force Israel to make a fateful choice. Israel can either be Jewish or democratic. It cannot be both. It won't ever really be at peace. He blasted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in strident terms, calling his ruling coalition the most right-wing in Israeli history, with an agenda driven by the most extreme elements. Those elements, Kerry said, are now defining the future of Israel. Their stated purpose is clear. They believe in one state, Greater Israel. So this is just filled with a bunch of fucking hypocrisy, because John Kerry's against the Israelis doing right-wing agenda, but when we do right-wing agenda, that's perfectly fine. So when we go to Iraq and Syria and Libya to overthrow their governments, mostly just for the oil, I'll dig that up, but it's not really to help those people out. But when we go and just overthrow governments, oh, he's fine with it. He's not pulling back and saying, you know what, we need to get out of this. We're not killing people over oil. We're not killing people just so the war profiteers can make money. But when another nation or another president or prime minister wants to do right-wing shit, oh, now he gets upset. So it's good that he's criticizing them for wanting to just keep oppressing the Palestinians and just treat them like inhuman, or just treat them as like they're not equal to they are, because that's just not right and it's not true, and they just need to really work with them to make a two-state solution, because you can't just strip away the Palestinians' voting rights and their political power and their economic and social well-being. That's just not democracy, and that's just not an acceptable way to live to your neighbors. Just because you have a different religion from your neighbor doesn't mean you need to disrespect them and really put them in economic and physical harm. So that's just a big problem that's been going on for quite a while. Maybe I should dig into that some more, but there's plenty of work that needs to be done there. But it's just kind of laughable when we say, oh, now this president, now he's doing right-wing shit and he shouldn't be doing that because it hurts the people. Well, we do that shit, so I mean, it's laughable. He has strong words, but he doesn't want to put any action or any fire behind those strong words, because it says the U.S. troops abstain instead of voting with the UN Security Council to condemn Israelis' construction of the settlements. So instead of voting for them, they abstain. So I mean, that's just a half measure, and then just him kind of being a bitch, and the U.S. in general. So instead of having some strong actions and holding them to the fire and really criticizing them, we're going to say, yeah, well, we're going to give you harsh words, but not really vote to say we're actually going to put some actions behind it. So eventually we got to actually press and push for some actions behind some strong words we do have, because we need to make some changes, both domestic and international, with our political system, to make sure that we're actually helping people here and around the world. So it's a little late to be just having some strong words. We need some actions. Then of course the right wing's all saying, oh my gosh, we're abandoning Israel, all that bullshit. We're not abandoning Israel when we just signed a new deal where we're giving them $3.8 billion every year for military aid. So that's just a bunch of just political right-wing rhetoric that they just want to spew out. So lot of that stuff is just garbage that they're saying right now. All right, thanks for watching.